After admiring the countless paintings and objets d'art on the upper floors, I descended downwards into the heart of the Louvre, where I found the sculpture garden. Enormous in size and bathed in beautiful natural light, it was unlike any other place I had seen. Numerous pieces, large and small, not behind glass, but rather up on pedestals for everyone to admire. Noblemen and rulers and kings and goddesses and ancient heroes and lore alike from all different countries, whether they be France or Greece or ancient Mesopotamia. There were so many pieces here that I had to stop and admire. Sculpture itself as a form of art seems like a bit of voodoo to me. To imagine these as large pieces of marble that were slowly and meticulously carved out, individual veins, small, seemingly insignificant details brought to life over countless years by the most talented hands that have ever graced the face of the earth. Pieces that baffled the mind and enticed the senses. The grand halls, the vaulted cathedral ceilings that absorbed all sound, leaving only the silent awes for all of us that admired. Pieces that transcended time itself and brought humanity to the ancient past. And pieces so small and so articulately carved that they could only be observed through magnifying glasses that were provided. The art of sculpture itself has seemed to have followed us from the very dawn of humanity. And much like the sculptures themselves, my time seemed to have fallen away as I spent hours on this bottom floor. I imagine the artists that must have poured themselves into these works. I thought about the way that the art itself had daisy-chained throughout generations and across continents. How arts and techniques must have been passed down from artisan to artisan across the Silk Road, throughout Europe, and even beyond, in marble and copper and granite, plucked from the very minerals, the primordial clay that man itself was drawn from and formed into life, lacking only that Promethean fire for it not to come to life and walk amongst us. And then I discovered that beneath our very feet, under the objets d'art, the oil paintings, and the sculptures, was the very Louvre castle itself, remaining from the medieval period, most of which had been demolished but then rediscovered and brought back to life as the very exhibit underneath the building under which it was constructed. It had been paired with other great works of stone art. And beyond that was my final stop, the grand hall of exquisite Greek sculpture. And I knew what remained at the very end. It was all I could do not to rush through the hall, knowing my final goal, the final woman I was bound to meet at the end of my journey here in the Louvre. And then finally I made her acquaintance. Larger than life and more beautiful than any picture could do her justice was the Venus De Milo. I stood there, awed in her presence, until the Louvre finally closed.